I'm honored to be joined by Ryan Coogler, the director of Fruitvale Station. Congrats, man, on being out here at Zurich. You enjoying your time in Switzerland?
I'm having a blast, man. I really am.
I've met a lot of directors over the years. I've never crossed paths with somebody who just genuinely loves film as much as you do. I mean, and loves making movies, and you came into our studio and we're asking what kind of cameras we have here. Where did this love of film start for you?
It started fairly recently, man. I'm 27 now. I really got into it when I was like 17. You know, so it's been about 10 years. Mm-hmm. I used to play football. I got a football scholarship to a school in the Bay Area, and I was majoring in chemistry at the time. I like science, so I was trying to become a doctor. You know, if football didn't work out, and they made me take a creative writing class, and in that class I wrote an assignment, and my professor, you know, recommended that I become a writer. You know, after reading it, and specifically screenplays. So that's kind of how I got into it. You know.
Talk to me about how you first came across Oscar's story.
Oh, I first came across it like everybody in the Bay Area did. Like, first I heard about it from somebody who was riding BART that night. It was New Year's Eve, and everybody was kind of on public transportation that night. And then I saw the footage, unfortunately, on the internet and on the news. You know, and that was how I first became aware of how it went down, and everybody had their own different reactions to it. You know, it was something that really shook the whole Bay Area, and people, you know, immediately started protesting and rioting, and people kind of took sides politically, you know, about how they felt about Oscar and how they felt about the situation. And I was really interested in the human side of it, because I couldn't help but see myself, you know, in him. And I thought about who would be most affected if I didn't make it home. So I thought about maybe making a film from that perspective, the perspective of his most close relationships, you know. It's
got to be difficult, I would imagine, to balance having such success with the movie now that it's premiered at Sundance and it's taking you all over the world, and yet you have to honor Oscar's life, and you have a relationship with his family, I know.
Absolutely.
So how have you balanced that? Because I imagine it's quite hard.
No, it is, and it's really an interesting thing to think about, because I wish I wasn't here. You know what I mean? I wish this dude was still alive, living his life, that he hadn't been shot and killed that night. And then I was here for making a different type of movie. You know, I think the biggest thing that I try to think about is the fact that, you know, with this film, people are being made aware of this situation, being made aware of what happened with Oscar, and more than anything, his story has given a window into many stories that are still happening today in the United States. And if you think about young people losing their lives in unnecessary fashions, you know, that's something that's kind of universal. That's happening all over.
It's a lot to take on for a first-time filmmaker. I mean, you made shorts before taking on Fruitvale Station, but for your first feature, there's a lot going on with this, obviously. Have you kind of taken a step back and put it all in perspective and realized that, wow, you know, you're not just telling one man's story, you're telling a story about a lot of different things going on in America and around the world right now.
For me, it was a very specific story, you know what I mean? But through the specifics, you know, of this one person's life, you can kind of get to all those other things. But I mean, I think something that helped me from getting overwhelmed was not thinking about all of that and just thinking about, you know, just one thing.
Well, then you premiere the movie at Sundance, and I know you thought, okay, that's the last I'm going to have to talk about Fruitvale. That's the last time people are going to see the movie. And then now this whole other adventure has happened for you and for the people involved with the film. So what's that been like?
It's been a learning process. I mean, I've been fortunate that I wake up every day and I learn something new, you know, and it's been that way, you know, since premiering the film at Sundance. The whole process of distribution and the process of engaging with the press was something I had never learned about.